Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of The Wheel Goes Off. As always, I thank you folks for watching. Some big news has come out of WWE just a short while ago. WWE did issue a press release stating, in regards to the planned, at the time of announcement, Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, which was advertised as a history-making event, as it would be the women's equivalent of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It was just announced by WWE in a press release that that Moolah's name has been dropped, and going forward, it will simply be known as the Women's Wrestlemania Battle Royal. This comes in response as the match itself was announced on Monday. Afterwards, there was a huge backlash by fans in regards to Moolah's name being attached to this. For those who don't know, and you've probably been looking this up as of late, in regards to naming a historic women's event, naming it after Moolah, who in recent years, it was revealed, at the very least, Moolah was a thief, and at the worst, Moolah was a monster. For those of you that don't know, it came to light in a recent book, and also personal testimonials from various women wrestlers, that Moolah basically had a stranglehold over women's wrestling for most of the part of her 27, or most of her time in the business. When she opened up a wrestling school, she would make these women sign contracts. The contracts that stated that she would get 25% of that. Moolah would be booking their matches for them, or at least getting them booked at various events, and would receive 25% of their fee, of their pay. And this also would be in addition to her own fee for booking them. There was instances from a former student of hers who went by, I don't know if you even either heard the name Mad Maxine, but she was Moolah's protege going up against Wendy Richter. Well, she revealed later on in life that, unbeknownst to her, Moolah was taking 50% of her pay, as the promoters would pay her, as WWE would pay Moolah, and then Moolah would pay Maxine, and Moolah would take half of her pay. And this is including her own pay at the time, as Moolah was paid as a manager on record in WWE, then the WWF at the time. And as it's then there was also what's called the original screw job. It's where Mad Maxine was supposed to be in the Rock and Wrestling cartoon, but Moolah used her influence to get herself put in and get Mad Maxine taken out, and that was pretty much the last straw, and that's when Mad Maxine left the WWE. As I said, at best, she's a thief, because she would take, like we're saying, anywhere from 25 to 50% of these women's pay. In addition, if they trained under Moolah, Moolah would basically force them to live in duplexes on her property, where she would charge them rent and utilities. One lady said that it took her 2 years to make any money in professional wrestling because all of her money basically went to Moolah. And then, as it said, at worst, she's a monster, where it was said that some of her students were sent to promoters, unbeknownst to them, but that Moolah said that these women would be basically available for sex. And if, in certain instances, and in most of these instances, the women did not know. And were, in some cases, out and out raped. There's one case where it's reported that Moolah and Buddy Lee, her then husband, drugged a woman to make her more acquiescent, and then basically got her addicted. So you can see where a lot of people have a lot of outrage, and where WWE seems really short-sighted, given the environment right now in which we live with the Me Too movement, and where a lot of people who have a history of, at the very least, being very classless around women, and at the worst, using their position to gain favors from women. And so, to name what you consider a historic event in the history of women's wrestling. Now, and of course, let's not also forget that basically, Moolah had a stranglehold, basically, at that time, on women's wrestling. As if you look in the days of Mildred Burke and such, before Moolah's time, women's wrestling was better. Some say it's if not on par, if not even better than today's women's wrestling, and that's saying something. And because Moolah was such a horrible worker, she used her name recognition basically to make sure that no one became more popular than her. That they had to work her style of matches. And so, as it said, there was a petition on change.org. I think it's on change.org, but with 10,000 signatures, basically asking WWE to take Moolah's name off of the Women's Battle Royal, for obvious reasons. And, well, WWE has since done so. WWE did say in their statement that they were going to go on with the match, but it was simply going to be called the Women's Wrestlemania Battle Royal, and in saying that it will still be a historical event in the history of women's wrestling. So we can all put this behind us, and hopefully, it's horrible that these things happen, but it should be known, because this is clear. We talk about the women's revolution, and how women's evolution, and how women's wrestling has changed, and in a lot of cases for the better. And maybe it'll be now best to eliminate from history the manufactured and fabricated glory of someone who basically was a monster. So what do you think of the name change to the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal? As always, let me know in the comments section below, and you can always talk to me via my social media. And, as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. As you know, we're building towards our WrestleMania goal. And like this video and share it with you for everyone you know. So until next time, I'm the Guido, and I think we're done here.